Welcome and welcome back. Day 10. We got 5 more to go. Today we got a bunch of quality of life stuff and a couple other clarifications on some of the stuff that we've already covered, like combat masteries. So let's dive into it. The first thing we have got is you're going to be able to buy the max cape in Misthalin. It's going to be from the sage who's just kind of chilling around the Lumbridge castle area. And while there are an absolute ton of skill capes, I just wanted to call out a couple of them. 3 of them actually come from Kandarin, so, if you max L for Kandarin, I guess, you have got the HP cape coming from the desert. So if you wanted that little bit of extra regen, doing some sort of like Guthan's AFK whatever build, then this can help you out if you do end up maxing. You've also got the thieving cape, can help you with pickpocketing if we don't see something like Trickster again. You've got the ranging cape to help you save even more ammunition on top of the combat mastery saving already. And yes, they are multiplicative from what I remember, meaning you're gonna save like essentially all of your ammo at that point. I mean, you're already saving so much from the combat mastery passive. But then there's also the magic cape, help you swap spell books. Probably not going to be super useful for most people, but if you don't take the grimoire and maybe you unlock the areas that give you the spell books, then that can be helpful for you. The next one they told us about is just faster respawns of stuff. This is going to be like NPCs, skilling nodes, pretty much everything in the league is going to respawn faster. The number that they used was 3 times faster, but they also alluded to, if something takes a little bit longer, it would probably be more than that. So things like Runite rocks, Adamant rocks, all of the high level trees. This is going to be really good for people who take the mining relic, and for those of you who are after the woodcutting relic, rejoice, it is not a trash can today. Look at it there. I'd almost forgotten what this thing looks like. So all the poor saps who take that one, yes, the trees are going to regrow a little bit faster. This next one, for those who care about managing like the messages in their clans, probably not a ton of people, but you are getting some different toggles that you can use, so a couple more control pieces for that. Melee Zulrah has been confirmed. Zulrah is not going to be immune to melee damage. I know a lot of us were kind of going back and forth in the comments about whether or not this would actually work, but it is going to work this time around, which means melee build, Nature's Reprisal, going to be super good for this. Even the Noxious Halberd should be able to reach Zulrah, and that thing is going to be crazy because it's a base 5-tick weapon. So if you get up to the tier 5 combat mastery in the melee tree, you're going to be swinging that thing like a blowpipe. It's going to be crazy, dude. And also they are removing the damage cap on there. So tiny itty bitty little buff for anyone who's doing some sort of elemental build. If you happen to go like Kandarin, I mean, I guess it helps people who aren't going the elemental build, because it's not like you can't use fire spells outside of Kandarin, right? But Kandarin people, you get this tiny little green arrow. Just the tiniest little win for you right there. They have also clarified what it's going to look like to get one of the mega rares from any of these raids. So if you would have received one of these drops from a raid, instead you're going to get a voucher, and you can use this voucher again on the sage in Lumbridge, and he will allow you to trade that in for any one of the weapons, so you're going to be able to choose. Definitely helps in protecting you from like duplicates of a particular weapon. I know some folks were really worried about that. I've also had some questions coming my way about how you're going to charge the scythe. If you get the scythe and you don't have Mauritania, just know that for leagues the scythe is charged with only blood ruins, so you don't need to worry about the biles or anything like that. So yes, you can use it outside of Mauritania. Don't worry about that. Next up, we have got some more bosses with the ability to have instances of them in the league. So you've got Sarachnis over in Korend. You've got Cerberus in Asgarnia. This one's going to be great because it's also an Echo boss. So a lot of people are going to want to farm the boss itself to get that Echo orb. And then the last one being the Thermonuclear Smoke Devil in Kandarin. Little bit silly because yeah, it's an Echo boss, so like maybe people are farm it, but like how many people are going Kandarin? You know what I mean? But it is there available to you. One thing to keep in mind with this, with the Total Recall Relic, you can't save your spot in an instance. So if you do end up farming any of these bosses and you want to go that relic, you probably don't want to use the instance, or you can save your spot outside of the instance right before you go in. But then you don't get that benefit of like saving your spot on top of the boss and just sort of like resetting and infinite specking. So little bit of a loss there, but you can still do that if the world happens to be open. We are also going to be getting access to Tormented Demons for free. This is not going to complete the Walguthic Sleeps quest. You're just going to be able to access them once you get a Sapphire Lantern. And I know we kind of got a teaser for accessing these before. So it's nice to kind of get that confirmed for us. We don't have to worry about like unlocking a certain number of regions to get the quest or anything like that. Now, the Sapphire Lantern, pretty low requirements, but it does have some. So if you haven't played an Iron Man before, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to make it, especially like super early on. Not that anybody's going to be going and killing tormented demons at level 3, but to kind of help you get there, first you'll have to make the Bullseye Lantern frame. So that'll either be 49 smithing with a steel bar, or you can get 35 Slayer, and it is a 1 in 25 drop from wall beasts. So both of those work. You get yourself the sort of like empty Bullseye Lantern. You're also going to need a cut Sapphire. A lot of ways that you could do this. 20 crafting if you want to just cut a Sapphire. Maybe you mined it in like the Shiloh Village gem mine. Or if you've already opened up some regions, something like the desert, or Falador, or Barlamore, anything with like a gem shop or a gem table that you can thieve from, you'll be able to get one of these as well. So there are some options there. Now, kind of like the most pain in the butt thing about making one of these from scratch is needing lamp oil. And a lot of you are probably familiar with Remington. That's a great place to go if you have Asgarnia. But if you don't have Asgarnia, don't worry. Everyone is going to have access to a machine that can make lamp oil. You're actually going to have one in the Dorgishkan city. It's going to be next to this NPC here, Miltog, and you just have to take some Lumbridge swamp tar? I think it's the tar. It's whatever spawns in the Lumbridge swamp itself. You pick that up, you run down, you use it on this machine while you have the empty Bullseye Lantern in your inventory, then it'll be filled. You'll be ready to light it. Takes 49 fire making in order to light it. So again, not like crazy high stats with this. It's just maybe a little bit extra annoying to make that thing. But once you've got it, then you can travel down. You can end up fighting the tormented demons. Great for the Burning Claws is like an earlier special attack weapon. But of course, you're also going to be getting access to the Demon Bane weapons, which are going to give you bonuses against all of these different things here, kind of like the big creatures or bosses in a given area, just so you can kind of visualize that. Particularly for Cerberus in Asgarnia, who again is going to be that Echo boss, so that is especially nice for that. Also things like Sire, which are typically really slow to kill. Now you probably saw the Duke in the corner of that last screen. He is a demon, and yes, they are also going to be updating how his boss fight works a little bit, so he is not going to suck as much anymore. Big wins for Fremnik today, let me tell you. The potions that you make in order to wake him up to fight him, which is typically like the most time-consuming part of that fight, especially in leagues, well, now you can just batch make all of the potions. They're going to stay in your inventory. It's not going to like clear out, which means you're going to be able to fight him over and over again in quick succession. So that is really going to speed up that grind. Super, super good for anybody who's taking Fremnik. They have also shared that boss overrides are now going to transfer between leagues. They are going to include ones that you would have got in the last league. Nothing before then, but moving forward, they will all be included. So for you out there who love to pet hunt, one more thing for you to do, I guess. Do keep in mind, pet rates are not increased in the league, so they are all still very rare. Now, the team also shared with us that we are going to get the Defender of Rock quest auto-completed from the start. This does not include the prerequisite quest, so bear that in mind. But what this means is you're going to have access to the Zombie Axe, which is a 5-tick weapon. It is quite strong. Pretty good for slash, super good for crush, and it doesn't have a lot of like crazy high requirements in order to use it. It is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt getting 70 smithing if you didn't go the mining relic. So bonus points for the mining relic are folks that have like the Fremnik region for Blast Furnace. That's going to be helpful to get up to this sooner. Takes 65 attack to wield. And when you think about this in combination with the melee masteries, at tier 3, it's going to go down to 4 ticks. And at tier 5, it's going to go down to 2 ticks. So this thing is also going to be a really, really good like early mid weapon before you get into some of those boss weapons. Couple more freebies for Fremnik. They are going to auto-complete the Fremnik Trials and the Fremnik Isles quest. This does mean that you're not going to be able to complete these for the XP, so a little bit of a shame if you were looking to do that. But it is nice because it means when you open up the Fremnik region, you've basically got free reign over the entire place. You can take all the boats, travel to different islands, so it's really going to speed up your progress in the Fremnik region. We've also had a couple of clarifications for the combat masteries. I know I've been getting a lot of questions from you all for this. The Sunlight Spear that you get from killing the Echo Soul boss. For the melee tiers, you have that chance to do echo damage, which is like an additional hit, and they have confirmed that echo hits are going to transfer back to Sunlight Sphere stacks, which means you're going to be able to just special attack faster and faster with the spear. So that is a cool bonus for this one. The Wilderness Sword is a little bit of a weird one. And I know there's been a lot of questions around, like, does the lightning echo? Does the echo of the echoes lightning and like all of that? Terrible mess. But I'm going to read this out to you so that we're all on the same page. The passive can generate echo hits, but those echo hits cannot proc the passive. So if I am understanding that right, what it means is echo hits are not going to trigger lightning strikes. But if the passive of the sword, which is a 20% chance to trigger a lightning bolt in the 3x3 area, those lightning bolts have a chance to create echo hits. So basically just the echo won't create more lightning, but if you do lightning, that's more chances for more echoes. Hopefully that makes sense. This still somehow feels confusing, but I think that's right. Also, on the magic side of things, they have confirmed that yes, the mastery here, the tier 6 mastery, it is going to calculate your max hit first, and then if that is higher than the enemy's max HP, it's gonna do the max hit. So I know some of you are worried about, like, does it use the base damage or how does that interact with the modifiers? Hopefully that helps clarify it a little bit for you. And a couple other points that I think are worth bringing up. The Echo Hispori boss is not going to give you farming XP, so rip the dream of like free 200 mil farming XP. We don't get that. But that's okay because we have the Overgrowth Relic if you end up taking that over the Grimoire, or whatever the other third choice is. Now, this is going to work on trees. It's going to work directly with the tree seeds. What that means, though, is when it goes and swaps out those plots for you, you are not going to get any logs or any of the tree roots. So for things like the diary requirements, where you have to get things like magic roots or U roots or whatever, you're going to have to go and deal with that tree manually, which means pulling those seeds out of your seed vault. Okay, man, that was a lot of stuff. I think that actually ended up being longer than I was expecting. So with that, subscribe if you want to see more Leagues content. I've got my Discord linked in the description down below, and I will be streaming the start of the League. The League starts on November 27th at 6 a.m. Central. I'm going to be starting my stream a couple hours after at 9 a.m. Central, so if you want to join me on my Leagues journey, I'll be doing that here. But with that, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.